Hi, my name is Tom Sikorsky and I work for the City of Sturgis at the wastewater treatment plant. I want to welcome you this morning and we're going to go on a quick tour. So this is the beginning of our tour. This is where all the wastewater from the City of Sturgis, Village of Baroque, an area of Indiana, it all begins right here. The process starts. Raw wastewater comes into the plant, then we pump it up to the top and we're removing all the nasty rags, roots, whatever can be flushed down the toilet. So we showed you the screen, that's removing the rags. That's the first part of the process. The second part of the process, we're removing the inorganics, the sands, the heavy material that isn't beneficial for the treatment plant, and that was here on the outside. So now we're at the primary treatment tank or clarifier. We're the second part of the process, primary removal. We're removing any floatable solids and settling heavy solids to the bottom for further processing. So after primary clarification, the top water from the clarifiers are now pumped into this tank, which is known as a trickling filter, and this is where the biological process begins. So after the trickling filter, we collect the water in what's called a contact basin, and we're just providing enough air for the microorganisms to digest the food and rest. And we're starting to create clean water. So from the contact basin, water goes to split into two clarifiers where we settle the solids back out, and then the water from those clarifiers are joined back at this point in this wet well, and we grab a sample of that for processing. Water is pumped up to the tower, and that tower is designed just to remove ammonia. So from the nitrification tower, flow comes into the final two clarifiers, and they're just that, final clarifiers. At this point, we've removed all the nitrogen, the phosphorus, the solids from the water, and then we have to meet our compliance at the end of these tanks, and that's why we have a sampler at the end of it. So from the final clarifiers, the water is now getting dosed with chlorine to disinfect it. It comes into the polishing pond. We have about 11 hours of detention time. At the back of the pond, we add another chemical to remove the chlorine. It hits the cascade steps for aeration, and then it's in a 30-inch pipe for 2.5 miles before it hits the Fawn River. So now that we clean the water, put it back in the river, we have to deal with the solids that were removed from the primary clarifiers. We do that by pumping those solids into what we call digesters. They're heated digesters, and they breaking down the process breaks down the solids, produces methane gas and water, and the methane gas is used to run the heat exchanger to keep digestion at 98.5 degrees. If you want to think about it in another sense, what else is 98.5 degrees? Our guts. So digestion solids is like us eating food. We have to process it. There's a lot that goes on to that, just like we have to maintain our bodies. We break that down. From there, those solids are put into storage. After storage, usually in the fall, the contractor comes in and we're applying those solids to farm fields for beneficial reuse. The farmer's getting nitrogen and phosphorus to amend his soils. So if you live in Sturgis and the surrounding townships and you flush the toilet, it's all collected in the collection system and it all comes to the treatment plant. Some of the things we don't want to see are disposable wipes, rags, underwear, socks, kids' toys. Those are tough on not only the pipes and the equipment outside the plant, but also can damage the equipment in the plant, which can be costly. So please keep them out. So as the wastewater superintendent, I oversee the total operations of the treatment process from beginning to end, and compliance and everything in between. So what do communities do if they don't have a wastewater treatment facility?